More than 180 people confirmed dead at this hour and hundreds still missing as a result of Hurricane Helene and its aftermath. It's now the second deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland in the last 50 years. There are federal agents and federal aid on the ground and working their way in as quickly as possible. That help, of course, going to be needed for a very long time in some areas. That it's not months but years to clean up after this storm. People across western North Carolina are dealing with damaged roads, cell phone and internet outages, and more than 1.2 million customers at this time are without power, making it difficult to communicate, of course, with family member and friends, and it could take weeks to restore that power. Towns, meantime, cut off from critical supplies as well as services. Some areas are so inaccessible that supplies are being delivered only by air, and catastrophic destruction covers 400 miles. We know there's a lot of efforts in place right now. And joining me via Zoom is Cody Walker, the executive director of Reach Out Worldwide. Now, this foundation was started by his brother, the late Paul Walker, after the Haiti earthquake back in 2010, excuse me. So, Cody, I know that you're keeping it going. You already have people there on the ground in North Carolina. Could you kind of set the scene for us and what you've been hearing from that crew?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Sure. First and foremost, as was said, this is the largest hurricane and disaster that we've had since I believe it's Katrina in the last 50 years. It's devastating. We've been doing this, putting boots on the ground for almost 15 years now. We've seen a lot of devastation from hurricanes, but this one is really, really bad. Specifically, our team has been operating in Asheville, North Carolina. At this point, it's estimated to be between 40 and maybe even 50 people that have passed away in that part of the country. But yeah, it's as you said, it's something that's going to take not months but years to rebuild, and some things just frankly aren't going to be the same again.
And certainly, and when crews arrive there, what is priority number one? Because it can be incredibly difficult to navigate when there's no accessibility to get to these vulnerable people, the survivors of this storm. So what is priority number one when you arrive?
Yeah, so our team has actually been on the ground there since Friday, the 27th of September. And we, what we do is we get volunteers in there and we force multiply with the local resources. We augment local resources, we force multiply, we figure out what the needs are, and we assist them where needed. The first few days are always going to be more search and rescue. Lives are more important than property, obviously. So we want to get in there and we want to help locate family members that people are worried about that haven't been able to check in. But these ordeals are very dynamic. They change hour to hour. We are now moving more into the recovery phase of the disaster. In Asheville, North Carolina, a big problem is not necessarily just the trees that have fallen and blocked roadways. It's the landslides that have completely locked people in. So we've been having to do a lot of hiking. We cut down an area there for a landing zone for a helicopter that's been coming in and out and getting the elderly in and out of that community, as well as provide internet access to the local fire department through Starlink so that they can also do their job better.
We've been showing your crew's video to our viewers, showing the vulnerabilities and the destruction that's been done. What is the response when you're coming into contact with people who have survived this horrible and deadly storm? What is their response to you and the aid that you're providing to them?
Well, the ones that we come across, they're terrified for their loved ones and their family members that they can't get a hold of. Naturally, I'm sorry, I'm kind of emotional. Naturally, they're grateful that we're there. We've been working very closely with the Reems Creek Fire Department, specifically there, who have been wonderful, the fire chief, everybody. And we've been able to just help each other out. They're spread very thin right now, as is everybody who's going through this. This is a widespread disaster, and they're just grateful for the help that we're able to provide.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking a moment to share with us, the legacy that you've carried on for your brother, and it is very emotional, so rightfully so to get that way. And is there anything else that our viewers can do to further your mission?
Yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. There's a lot of things to do. As I mentioned, these are dynamic. There's going to be multiple phases to this mission. As we go through the recovery efforts and then rebuild. So anybody who's interested and would like to get involved, we have positions for skilled and non-skilled volunteers. They can get a hold of us with responders@row.org. You can also check out the website row.org as well to learn how you can get involved. And if you're physically unable to get involved, that's fine. There's still a lot of other things that you can do. Of course, donations are always huge for an organization such as ourselves. There's just a lot of ways to get involved. So please email us at responders@row.org.
Yes, sir. Cody Walker with Reach Out Worldwide. Thank you so much, and best of luck to your crew out there in North Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Still ahead, Phoenix children.